Right now at 6, new additions to the Missouri War Memorial honor soldiers who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And scattered showers, a few thunderstorms out there this morning, at least for some of us. We'll go over those details and what the rest of our day holds coming up.
Plus, the Show Me State moves to argue gun laws at the highest court. The justices have other ideas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, October the 7th. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Hopefully you had a good Monday.
Right.
So today, I guess, is as we saw in the Ag Day report, Taco Tuesday. But we had tacos at home last night, so we were a day ahead. But man, I'm telling you,
any leftovers?
No. They're
well,
beef and everything. It's so darn expensive these days.
Sure.
We can only do taco night, once every so often. But when we do it, I can assure you, there's not anything left over for anybody to have more. Like they're gone on taco night. So if you didn't do it last night, like we did, maybe you can do Taco Tuesday tonight. And really, a great evening. Honestly, this is a great evening for chili. Just
more
because
ground beef though.
That's okay. That's true. Well, I mean, I guess you could use the turkey stuff.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's not. I don't know. It's not
veggie
great.
chili.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever you like.
Well, something. I'm sure you can come up with something fall related because this is the most fall-like day we've had and that we're going to have for a while. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh, and we are looking at mostly cloudy. Well, just at this point, we're getting to where we are straight up cloudy skies across the area. But we'll look at that. See, there it is. You have to say the chant. I don't know. Maybe it's like the Wonder Pets. Look, they're getting older, but I've had small kids. I'm familiar with what the Wonder Pets do. They tell you when the phone is ringing. They let you know if something's serious. I want to say, and what's going to work? Teamwork, and that's what always works. From our camera, 7th and range line, you can see the clouds. You can see the lights reflecting off of the clouds out there. And the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, you can still, that's the haze from the LED street light there, but still, cloudy skies regardless. Here's Skywatch Storm Tracker. So now we have these thunderstorms working into parts of Eureka County. Oh my goodness, I've been doing it all morning. I am calling counties by city names. No, wrong. This is Greenwood County. Eureka is in Greenwood County. I am so sorry. Something about the weather change, it's got me a little messed up here. But either way, thunderstorms rolling in. A couple of these were severe west of Wichita, again, two and a half hours ago. We haven't had anything severe since. We're not expecting anything severe, but we will monitor them because at least this storm here, it's been trying to reorganize, and it is the one that a couple hours ago or so was severe. It is not at this point, not expected to be, but we'll watch it. All of this activity rolling off to the east, and we'll continue to push through southeast Kansas. Now, even though it kind of looks impressive here, the expectation is still that by the lunch hour, a couple of spotty showers is all that's left. Now, we could get some drizzle today under the mostly cloudy skies, a few light sprinkles, but we're not expecting anything significant. And again, the storms this morning should die out by the lunch hour. I know we need more rain than that, but I don't control it. That's just how it's going to be. I think we'll eventually start to have some gradual clearing by late evening and overnight tonight. Again, Yates Center has been the cool spot most of the morning here, sitting at 57 degrees. The rest of us, low mid-60s across the area. And for some of us, temperatures this morning, they're not going to really move that much. So scattered showers, thunderstorms, especially into southeastern Kansas for kids heading out the door this morning. Low 60s, upper 60s for lunch and recess, same as they head home later today with those mostly cloudy skies. We're going to go mid 60s by 9, upper 60s at lunchtime, and in between here, we should cap out about 70 for our highs. Now up north, you get a little more clearing, might go low to mid 70s, but most of us about 70, some of us maybe even just the upper 60s out there. So a much cooler day with that north wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, as I mentioned before, this is one of those one-day only deals. Temperatures start climbing again as we head through tomorrow and into next week. Details on that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the suspect in a fatal 2023 bar shooting in Pittsburgh learns his fate. The incident happened on a Sunday morning back in August 2023. Authorities responded around 1:15 to a reported shooting. On scene, they discovered Justin Krogan of Pittsburgh had been shot outside of a local bar and died from his injuries. The suspect, Jamon Allen, was arrested nearly 4 months later in Arkansas. Yesterday, a Crawford County judge sentenced the Pine Bluff man to 10.5 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter, aggravated battery, and aggravated assault. Allen was also ordered to pay $7,500 in restitution and register upon his release as a violent offender. Families shared emotional farewells as the soldiers from the Arkansas National Guard boarded buses and helicopters for their departure. More than 120 Arkansas National Guard soldiers said goodbye to their families as they prepared for deployment at Camp Robinson. Now the troops are heading to Fort Hood for training before moving to the southern border to support customs and border protection. The Arkansas soldiers will join a task force of more than 340 troops from across the country, from Oklahoma to Puerto Rico, all united for one mission. The soldiers will provide air support for ground air support and units and Border Patrol agents from helicopters. The United States Supreme Court refuses to revive a controversial Missouri gun law. The highest court said yesterday it would not hear arguments over whether the Show Me state can ban police from enforcing some federal gun laws. The state argued federal laws that don't have an equivalent state law do not have to be enforced. Now, the measure imposed $50,000 in fines for officers who knowingly enforce those federal laws. Those laws included possession of firearms by some domestic violence offenders and weapons registration and tracking. Now, lower courts found the 2019 law violated the Supremacy Clause, a section of the U.S. Constitution that says the federal law takes precedence over state laws. Now, Supreme Court justices refused to intervene in 2023, keeping the law blocked while a court fight between the state and the federal government played out. A new obelisk rises at the Missouri Veterans Memorial in Jefferson City to honor those who served in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The monument joins 8 other obelisks on the Veterans Walk next to the state capitol. The Missouri Veterans Commission pushed for the project after the General Assembly approved funding. The $157,000 obelisk will read Wars in Iraq and Afghanistan with dates from 2001 to 2021. The Office of Administration oversees construction, which is expected to finish by month's end. The Veterans Walk now represents every armed conflict Missourians have served in since the Mexican-American War. You can find more details on KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, it can be a long process to clean up storm damage between the physical labor and working with your insurance company. Now, some people are still trying to get things taken care of after strong storms during the spring and summer in the Ozarks. Chris Bryant looks at the damage done and what you can do now to be prepared for the next storm.
That's a tree that was 150 years old that stood up. Insurance covered so much of it, and this is the remaining part of it because they don't want to get rid of the rest of it.
Some homeowners are still trying to recover from rounds of severe weather that hit during the spring and summer.
This year, the 2 big ones were April 29th and June 29th. Pretty much all of Greene County between those 2 events were impacted with high winds, and that led to quite a bit of damage reported across the area.
During the cleanup process, dealing with insurance companies has been a problem for some.
When the branch came in, you could see where it shoved the metal thing up the bracket to hold the skirting.
Kelly Barlow says she feels like the insurance adjuster could have done a better job when it comes to assessing the damage.
And the guy never did really get up underneath the trailer to see if it shifted anything. He just glanced in. I stood there and walked with him. He says it doesn't look like it shifted. Did he ever get up underneath of it to look? No, he did not.
Insurance agents say policies are different from company to company, but for the most part, there has to be damage to a structure. Bryant Young with Insurers of the Ozarks says insurance companies are starting to look at the cost of coverage.
A lot of insurance companies have come back, several of the ones that we work with, and started reevaluating the replacement cost on these folks' home to make sure it is accurate.
While it is ideal to have some money set aside in case a storm event happens.
I can't imagine the people who likely cleaned up from the first event and then were hit with the second one, or, maybe they didn't get a lot of damage the first time and then they got it the second time.
Insurance agents say it's always best to talk to your agent to make sure you understand your coverage and make any changes to your policy that can save you headaches in the future.
And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News.
At PSU, it's a gathering of trumpet players from throughout the Midwest. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll give you an inside look coming up.
Plus, President Trump deploys National Guard troops to Chicago and Portland for ICE facility protection and cool and cloudy conditions. Chris returns with another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 6:10. We'll be right back.
Membership options today.
Well, topping Nation Watch, in the past few days, President Trump has ordered National Guard troops into two more American cities. Portland, Oregon, he describes it as a war zone, and Chicago, which he calls a hellhole. But the leaders of both cities and both states, all Democrats, are making it clear they don't want the Guard and dispute the president's claims that crime is out of control. CBS's Ashar Qureshi and Adam Yamaguchi report from both cities as those leaders are fighting the president's actions in court.
For the last 3 weeks, clashes have erupted outside the Broadview, Illinois ICE processing center. Protesters say federal agents in riot gear used pepper balls and tear gas to push them back from the facility. Dozens were detained as chaos spilled into the street. In this confrontation, a local rabbi who had joined the demonstration was wrestled to the ground by state police.
I felt I was going to die that night. I felt that it was going to be the end for me at that moment.
Over the weekend, President Trump ordered 300 Illinois National Guard troops to Chicago and up to 400 from the state of Texas.
It's like a war zone. It's probably worse than almost any city in the world.
But Illinois' Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker is pushing back, joining the state and city in a lawsuit to block that order.
Donald Trump's deranged depiction of Chicago as a hellhole, a war zone, and the worst and most dangerous city in the world was just complete BS.
Hundreds of National Guard troops now on their way. Their mission to protect the one city block in Broadview where the ICE processing center is located.
I'm Adam Yamaguchi outside the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, where over the weekend tear gas was used to break up protests. But similar to Chicago, all that activity is happening on a single block south of downtown in a city that comprises 135 square miles. Mayor Keith Wilson recently took us on a tour.
This is really the home of innovation. That's always what Portland has been known for.
But in seeking to deploy National Guard troops, the president has called the city war-ravaged, and on Sunday said this.
Portland is burning to the ground.
We often talk about protests, but they're huge peaceful protests.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked the administration from activating the Oregon National Guard to protect ICE agents and this facility. Protesters have differing views. Chad Caton says the National Guard is needed.
If we can't be serious about our safety and our law and order, then what are we? We're in anarchy, and that's a very dangerous place.
Ashley Doherty calls deploying the Guard an overreach.
Everybody is exercising our First Amendment rights, and we don't need the National Guard to do that.
Portland's mayor admits that crime and homelessness continue to be an issue for the city, but says that the city has gotten much safer, and the statistics seem to back up that claim. Over the last 2 years, crime here has dropped by 19%. Adam Yamaguchi, CBS News, Portland.
That's a look at Nation Watch this morning. Still to come, that myth about dogs having cleaner mouths than humans, well, a veterinarian calls it complete nonsense. Plus, cool and cloudy conditions. Chris returns with another look at your forecast. Good morning. I'm Elise Noe with your KOAM News update. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the deployment of California National Guard troops to Portland just 1 day after issuing the same ruling for Oregon's Guard. President Trump ordered the troops to protect what he called a, quote, war-ravaged city. But Oregon's governor accuses the administration of trying to sidestep court orders. Government lawyers argue the Guard is needed to protect ICE agents on duty. And protesters gathered outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland Sunday night, clashing with law enforcement as officers handcuffed and removed several demonstrators. The protest follows President Trump's push to send National Guard troops to Portland, a move state leaders oppose, saying his war zone claims are based on outdated 2020 protest footage.
And we've got mostly cloudy skies, could get an isolated sprinkle or two, and temperatures much cooler, about 70 for our highs today. Into the evening, still mostly cloudy. Overnight, some gradual clearing, partly cloudy and seasonably chilly, back in the low to mid 50s. But it's a brief cool down. We start warming up tomorrow. Upper 70s, low mid 80s, upper 80s as we head into the start of next week. Could have a few morning showers on Friday and some isolated storm chances as we head into the next work week. Temperatures still above average, low 80s.
Visit 23% by bundling your home and auto with us.
Well, Pitt State University held its annual Midwest Trumpet Festival the last 2 days. KOAM's Kenny Foreman gives us an inside look.
Even experienced trumpet players like music education major Joseph Lancaster are not immune to stage fright.
Doesn't hit me until like 15 minutes beforehand, before I'm backstage and I'm like, oh man, I'm about to do this.
Luckily for him, featured guest and Nashville Symphony Orchestra principal trumpet William Leathers helped put Lancaster's nerves at ease during a one-on-one session.
Can you sing the phrase that you see on the music and try to make it sound in a way that you don't want the phrase to sound like the way it looks.
The sense of community among trumpet students and educators was certainly felt by all at the Midwest Trumpet Festival, which welcomed a number of middle schools, high schools, and colleges. It's something that means a lot to Professor of Trumpet at Northwest Missouri State University, Bill Richardson.
Sometimes trumpet players get a bad rap for being very egocentric, and I don't get that sense here at the Midwest Trumpet Festival. It's very, there's a collaborative spirit that happens with all of us that are here, whether they're students or teachers or guest artists that come in.
Many of the educators hope that the younger students leave the festival feeling inspired to continue their pursuit of music, whether that be in the classroom or even beyond.
There are many different careers in music for people to pursue, from performances, being a performing artist, to being a music educator, to being in the military band, to being a symphony orchestra.
In Pittsburgh, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Now, Hastings says about 10 to 15 colleges and 5 high schools were represented. Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some scattered showers and storms beginning to work into our western counties this morning. Those should last through a portion of the morning before they die out, and then we're much cooler. Look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 622 coming up on 623 now on this Tuesday morning. Scattered showers, thunderstorms beginning to push into some of our northwestern counties out here. So Eureka, you're just starting to get in on it throughout Greenwood County. We'll head back up to the north and east from there. Burlington, showers, storms right around your area. A few more showers and storms off to your west. And then we'll head south and we'll go just to the west of Elk County here where we've got this this thunderstorm. Then we've got some additional little storms back behind here. So some good news is as I mentioned, we did have some of these storms. They did become low grade severe with some large hail out west of Wichita. This storm here tried to re-intensify. It tried a couple of times and it just didn't happen. And again, we didn't have any severe risk areas highlighted, although again, out west early this morning, there were a couple of those warnings. We just haven't had the right ingredients, and honestly, as they continue to track further east, the expectation is that by the lunch hour, they're dead. They may not even make it to 69, but that still seems to be the trend, because while they were kind of, again, ramping up a bit around Wichita, they're not doing so much. There's a bit more lightning with this activity that's entering into parts of Greenwood and Coffee counties, so it may be trying to pick up just a bit. But again, the overall expectation is this won't last much longer in terms of the thunderstorm activity as we head through the day. So future track still the expectation here. Just a few lingering showers by noon today. So that complex, again, the northern portion, if it holds, again, it's trying to re-intensify. But so did that other storm that's just west of Elk County. If it holds, it could make Lynn County, maybe parts of Bourbon County if it holds, but again, there's a lot of ifs on that. Otherwise, some sprinkles here and there through the day under these cloudy skies, not out of the question, but today is a considerably cooler day. We're going to be mostly cloudy. Now, up in our far northern counties, you may get a little more clearing done earlier than everyone else, so you might be a pinch warmer than everyone else, but it is going to be a pretty cool day. We'll get some gradual clearing late evening into the overnight hours. We'll go partly cloudy, and we'll spend a good portion of our Wednesday partly cloudy, but we'll get enough sunshine in here. Temperatures will begin to climb across the area once again, so this is truly a one-day only deal with temperatures, honestly, with our highs a bit below normal today. So a pretty chilly day. Like I said, a little bit of temperature shock for us because, again, it's been super warm the last several days. And honestly, after today, it's going to be really warm again. So this is to just this, and I can't even begin to imagine a number of people are probably going to feel a little sick. These weather changes, these temperature swings do have a tendency to mess with folks. So we're going to have some pretty big ones in the next about 24 hours or so. Thursday, a few more clouds possible, but otherwise still warm. So especially in the southeast Kansas, some scattered showers, thunderstorms out there. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Temperatures really not moving much. Eventually upper 60s by 11. I think most of us are going to top out at about 70. We could have some locations that only make the upper 60s. Excuse me. And again, our northern counties, again, could make the low to mid 70s, but still a cooler day than what we've seen here lately. Still mostly cloudy through the evening, eventually partly cloudy overnight, seasonably chilly, but get ready for that too. That's a much cooler night than we've had here lately, back in the low to mid 50s. But as I said, the temperatures start warming back up. Upper 70s the next couple of days, low mid upper 80s, getting close to 90 again, because why not? You know, it's October, of course. And then next week, we're still above normal, low to mid 80s, but we do have a few more scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, if you're having a hard time staying motivated, there's new evidence exercise snacks may help. Research published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine suggests short mini workouts sprinkled throughout the day can significantly improve the cardiorespiratory fitness of most physically inactive adults. Now, it's recommended that people get at least 300 minutes of exercise per week. And most of us consider our pets to be part of our families. Nearly half of all homes have a dog and about 1/3 have a cat. Now that can mean a lot of cuddles and kisses, of course, but is the old saying true? Is a pet's mouth cleaner than our own? Well, Susan Elizabeth Littlefield finds out if there is ick in the licks.
On a path full of pups, Willie makes his own way.
He's a cat who was born to be outside. I'd like to just kiss him on the head like that.
And when it comes to pets and their people, kisses universally abound. Does she ever lick your face?
She tries to. She licks my wife's face.
Do you let him lick your face? What's your...
I mean, I can't say no. I've heard that a dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's mouth.
What do you think?
It's probably true on certain occasions.
I've heard it, yeah.
What do you think?
I don't believe it.
This is the beginning of the periodontal disease.
Dr. Vivian Pignoni performs oral surgery on pets, so she knows the rumor. Dogs' mouths are cleaner than humans' mouths. Is that true?
This is a myth.
She says dogs, cats, and their humans all have mouths full of bacteria. It's just pets and humans have different kinds.
We have some bacteria that they can transmit to humans, like salmonella from the food, and also Pasteurella.
And rabies. They can transfer to humans through saliva and, of course, bites. Oh, it's so fun to have your dog or your cat kiss you.
If they have a good home care and don't have periodontal disease and maintain the vaccines and all preventatives, then it'd be safe to do it.
She suggests brushing your pet's teeth daily and getting a yearly professional cleaning. So if we get that dental care in check, you can let them kiss you.
Yes.
Okay. Because affection and ignorance can be bliss. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, CBS News.
Well, experts say if you're already sick, pregnant, or have a weakened immune system, you could be more susceptible to catching a disease from your pet. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
In the city of Pittsburgh.
Right now at 6:30, the ongoing government shutdown is forcing more families to turn to local food banks for assistance.
And we've got some showers and thunderstorms beginning to push into parts of southeast Kansas, and will be much cooler today. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Krispy Kreme releases 4 new treats with the Halloween-themed box.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:32. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, October the 7th. Happy Tuesday to everybody.
Yes.
Second day of the week, first full week of October. This will be the most October day we're going to have for a little while.
How about that?
Yeah. That's
About time.
I know, right? I mean, it hasn't been right since we got into October, and we're going to have at least one day where it's going to be pretty fall-like, and then it warms right back up again. But in exchange for that cooler weather, we get storm chances and we get cloud cover to go along with it. We're going to start live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. At least your AC is going to get a break. I mean, it's October. Still running the air conditioner. It's ridiculous. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I'm sure most of you are as well. But like I said, we don't control the weather. We simply tell you what it's expected to do. And that's the other side of things. You know, Mother Nature, she does her own thing sometimes. We've seen it happen more than once. And that's how it plays out. Our camera 7th and range line, you can see it's definitely, we are just straight up cloudy at this point. Same from MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. Here's Skywatch storm trackers. So lightning strikes, again, they don't indicate severe weather. I want to emphasize that. They don't necessarily indicate severe weather, but the number of lightning strikes in a storm or in a complex of storms can indicate whether it's intensifying, like if it's holding its own, or if it's dying out. They've come back up. They dropped as low as about 40 earlier, and now you can see that number changing with live lightning strike data, and then you see it also drop as well. So, and the reason it drops is when lightning strikes become stale, like the system holds them for a few minutes and then they drop off. So here's what we've got. Nothing strong, nothing severe, but we do have storms now moving into western Elk County, Greenwood, back up toward Burlington as well, and getting into the Yates Center area. These storms not expected to be severe. As I've mentioned all morning, this one was, and you see it briefly, was severe quite some time ago, about 3 hours ago now, west of Wichita. It's tried to reorganize. It has not. But now we're getting this little line of storms, and that could impact how much longer they last. So I'll show you future track. The expectation is by the lunch hour, that's it. It's done. A couple of light showers remain. But if those storms do manage to reorganize just a bit, not necessarily severe, but if they reorganize, they could maybe make it to the 69 corridor, maybe a little further east. But again, that's not the expectation at this time. Will otherwise be mostly cloudy, a few light sprinkles here and there. That's really about it. It won't be until the late evening and overnight hours we'll start to get a little clearing taking place. All right, so here's a look at temperatures. Neodesha, you're at 60. Yates Center has been the cool spot all morning at 57. We've got most of us, though, low to mid 60s as we're getting this day underway, but temperatures not expected to move very much today. We'll go low 60s, maybe a few storms as kids head out the door this morning, upper 60s for lunch and recess, and as they head home with those mostly cloudy skies, we're going to hit about the mid 60s by 9, upper 60s by noon. Most of us highs should top out at about 70, and will be mostly cloudy with that north breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour. So actually, even it's a very fall-like day, but we're actually below normal for our highs for many of us today. However, it's a one-day only deal, kind of like what you get at Macy's, because after that, we start warming back up. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, as the government shutdown continues, one Joplin food pantry is preparing for an increase in families needing help. KOAM's Blake Gully shows us how Souls Harbor is ready to meet that growing demand.
Over the last few months, Souls Harbor has seen more families turning to them for help. And leaders here say many of those families aren't unemployed. They are working, but with federal cuts and rising costs, they can't make ends meet.
We just did our numbers, and 82% of the people that we serve from our food pantry are people who are in homes that do have jobs, that are going out there. They just can't make ends meet because of all the bills that they have going on now, the food stamp cuts, all of that's been going on has caused such a burden that now to keep them in their homes, they do need that extra help.
The shelves here at Souls Harbor are full for now, but as more families seek assistance, they'll be empty again soon.
Over the last few months, they've already been cutting back on the food stamps, and so now we have the WIC program as well. And so we've been adding 20 to 50 new families every single week. So, and this has gone on for a couple, 3 months now. So yeah, the load here is getting extremely heavy.
As food pantries try to keep shelves stocked, local federal agencies are operating with limited resources during the shutdown. Peyton Kessler with the Cherokee County Health Department says, without NSA for staffing, no new benefits can be issued, but benefits that have already been issued onto a participant's card will remain available and redeemable as long as food funds are still available. As the shutdown continues, local agencies say they'll keep providing updates as new information comes down from Washington. Reported in the 4 states, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
Democrats and Republicans continue to blame each other as the government shutdown stretches into week 2. Erica Brown has the latest from the Capitol, where there's no sign of movement from either side.
The Senate reconvened Monday afternoon to vote once again on Republican and Democratic measures to reopen the government, but both proposals have failed to advance multiple times.
If the Democrats do not vote to open the government tonight, federal workers will not receive their next full paycheck.
Democrats are holding out for extending Affordable Care Act tax credits expiring this year and rollbacks to Medicaid cuts. But Republicans insist the shutdown needs to end first by passing a short-term spending bill.
The only reason the government is shut down is because Democrats refuse to accept a clean, nonpartisan funding extension.
Senate Democrats returned to Washington ready to negotiate. We're ready to work with Republicans to reopen the government.
Speaker Mike Johnson canceled plans for the House to return to Washington this week in an effort to put pressure on the Senate to pass a spending bill. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers remain furloughed during the shutdown, with some essential employees like military personnel and air traffic controllers working without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned air service to some communities could be impacted.
That money runs out this Sunday. So there's many small communities across the country that will now no longer have the resources to make sure they have air service in their community.
A new CBS News poll shows 39% of Americans blame President Trump and congressional Republicans for the shutdown. 30% blame Democrats and 31% blame both equally. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Tired of your morning makeup routine? Well, find out why going barefaced is the new power move. Plus, the holiday shopping season kicks off today for Amazon Prime members. We'll have the latest. Time now, 6:39. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, in Consumer Watch, the holiday shopping season kicks off today for Amazon Prime members. The e-commerce giant is offering early discounts on lots of merchandise like home decor, fashion, and toys. Amazon Prime Big Deal Days last October 7th through the 8th. And Krispy Kreme has released 4 scary good new treats along with a Halloween-themed box for spooky season. The donut chain is also offering customers 2 chances to score free donuts for Halloween. Anyone who wears a costume to participating locations on October 25th and the 31st can get a free original glazed or classic ring donut. Well, the no makeup movement is having a moment. Gwen Baumgardner has more on how this less is more approach can work for the office as well.
Gentle circular motion.
Deborah Borg is putting her best face forward, makeup free. The human resources executive gave up cosmetics 4 years ago and is now getting a lesson in polishing her look.
It looks more professional, actually, more polished than what I would normally do. Exactly. I normally wear just a matte chapstick or a lip balm, but I quite like that.
Actress Pamela Anderson has become the most recent celebrity face of the no makeup movement, and singer Alicia Keys before her. Anderson has described the choice as freedom and a relief. But can it work for professional women in the workplace?
I do still think that there are some politics associated with it, more around just feeling and looking polished, I think, more than anything else.
With a no makeup look, there's no rules.
Makeup artist Rebecca Robles says bare beauty really is in the eye of the beholder, and it all starts with a 5-step skincare process.
You'll want to leave your skin a little bit damp. That's going to help properly absorb the rest of your products.
And those products are flying off the shelves. The skincare products market in the U.S. was valued at nearly nearly $23 billion in 2023, according to Grandview Research, and it's expected to grow 4.2% annually through 2030 as more people prioritize clean, clear skin and a youthful glow.
It's a vitamin C serum.
Robles says after proper moisturization and sun protection, the rest is really up to you.
I always encourage people to experiment and play, and if they have a product like Deb does with her Bold Red Lip, if they have a product that they love, they should feel the freedom to incorporate that into their no makeup look.
The freedom to do less is putting a smile on fresh faces. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms beginning to work into our western counties, and those could continue a little bit this morning ahead of a much cooler day in the 4 states. We'll go over those details with you when we come back. Time now is 6:45.
Indigo Sky Casino is at Ron's.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays, and we're going to start in Pittsburgh with Axel Jackson celebrating birthday number 8. Happy birthday.
And also celebrating their 8th birthday, happy birthday to Ace Wood in Pittsburgh.
And in Altamont, Aurelia Hayward celebrating birthday number 9 today, says love Uma and Papa.
And in Columbus, a happy 12th birthday to Riker Saporito.
And heading over to Carthage for Harley Hudson, celebrating birthday number 14, says happy birthday from Mom, Dad, and Bud. We love you.
And a happy 14th birthday to Elia Lowry. It says we love you from Mom, Micah, Jaden, Grandpa, and Grandma Barnhart.
And back to Riverton we go for Dylan Bond, celebrating birthday number 15 today. Happy birthday, Dylan.
And in Columbus, a happy 16th birthday to Adeline Hutto.
And in Liberal, Monica Johnson celebrating birthday number 18 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 96th birthday to Bob Allen in Girard.
And our list continues with David Calkins in Kansas City celebrating birthday number 80. Happy birthday.
Last but not least, a happy birthday to Richard Westbury.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And Elise wants to recite to you some very important information that you need to take down.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen. And also, please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information there. And we've got showers, thunderstorms pushing into the area now. Live look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Our lightning strikes are still hovering there. You can see about 60, 61. Again, at the peak of these storms, they were about just shy of 100. And we can take this back all the way back to here, and you can see just on what the radar can see here is 83, and that was just before 5 o'clock this morning. These storms, again, one of them was severe briefly west of Wichita, and that's really been about it. There's been no severe expectations. We have no risk areas highlighted today, but you can see these storms as they've continued to push east across the area, turning into a bit of a line of storms. Now, that is a bit different than what the expectations were this morning. Based on data, this is not exactly what the plan was with some of these storms, is that they would turn into this line. Now, even though that's happening, future track data still suggests they're going to die out soon, but we'll watch them pretty closely. We're not expecting anything severe. I do want to emphasize that. It's just these storms may last a little longer than expected. So we're going to start up north here in the Coffee and Anderson County. So Burlington, you are getting in on the thunderstorm activity right now. Garnett, Ozark, it's just off to your west. We'll take 75, head south down toward Yates Center. You're probably hearing the thunder. You can probably see the lightning in the distance as these storms get a little bit closer to you out there. And we'll take 54 back to the west. Eureka, Greenwood County, been on the thunderstorm activity now for a little while, getting into Twin Grove, taking 99 south into Elk County, just to the west of Howard, northwest of Moline. You can see more thunderstorm activity out there. And again, Howard, you're probably hearing the thunder, seeing that lightning off in the distance. So again, also that emphasis too, when thunder roars, head indoors. I know we're getting ready for school, especially in some of our western counties. And while these storms aren't severe, you still want to watch out for the lightning, because again, we've had an uptick here and there in the lightning count through the morning, so that's the thing we want to watch. We can see how it's consolidating into this line of storms, and some development, it looks like trying to keep going here south of Wichita. So the reason that's important is because model data, the computers, We're not expecting, it's again not a severe line, nor are we expecting it to be, but they weren't expecting a line of storms. These things have kind of decided, I guess they've been chatting with each other and said, you know what, let's get together here and bring a little more rain. So if this organizes into a somewhat decent little line of storms, we could see them last longer than is currently expected. And all that means is we'll get rain maybe a little further east, because at this point they're not expected to make it to the 69 corridor, but some of these northern storms might make it into parts of Lynn and Bourbon County, maybe even almost to the I-49 corridor if they can hold. And then we'll keep an eye on this development, see if it's able to hold its own or if it begins to die out as well, because otherwise we might get a little more rain, and we certainly need more rain. But you'll see here on Future Track, this is the expectation by noon. It's done. And I was just looking at some of the later updates here, and that's still the expectation, is in the next, let's see, what time is it? It's coming up on 7, 9, 10. In the next 3.5 hours, these storms will be done. So we'll have to see exactly how that pans out. Otherwise, we're mostly cloudy. Some isolated sprinkles here and there, not out of the realm of possibility. We'll get some gradual clearing late this evening and overnight, start going partly cloudy out there as we head into our Wednesday. And our cooler temperatures are today only, because as we head into Wednesday, we start warming back up again. There's those cloudy skies from 7th and Range Line. So even if you're not getting rain, you're definitely getting the clouds. We'll have these scattered storms. We'll monitor them. And you can see temperatures not moving much, upper 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. So again, a much cooler day for us. Got another look at your forecast and your wake-up recap in just a moment, and when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to tell you about a breast cancer survivor that lost her sense of taste during treatment, and the Ohio State Garden of Hope is helping patients enjoy food again.
Well, this is your wake-up recap for October 7th. The top stories to start your day. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the deployment of California National Guard troops to Portland just one day after issuing this same ruling for Oregon's Guard. President Trump ordered the troops to protect what he called a war-ravaged city, but Oregon's governor accuses the administration of trying to sidestep court orders. Government lawyers argue the Guard is needed to protect ICE agents on duty. And protesters gather outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland Sunday night, clashing with law enforcement as officers handcuffed and removed several demonstrators. The protest follows President Trump's push to send National Guard troops to Portland, a move state leaders oppose, saying his war zone claims are based on outdated 2020 protest footage. Tensions remain high as Oregon residents voiced disapproval of federal intervention. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And we've got those scattered shower storms pushing through southeast Kansas. Otherwise, mostly cloudy into the afternoon, about 70 for our high, so enjoy it. Could get some isolated sprinkles out there, but again, the majority of us should be dry. We'll eventually get some clearing late this evening into the overnight hours, and we are seasonably chilly. This is the most fall-like day that we're going to have for a little while. Now, toward the end of the month, really long-range data suggests we'll really get back to fall, like real fall. But until then, we start warming back up. Upper 70s next couple of days. Go low, mid, upper 80s, getting close to 90 again because, yeah, it's October. Why shouldn't we do that, right? After that, though, low 80s next week with a few more isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm chances.
All right, and coming up today at noon, we're making Minnesota hot dish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. A look at the controversial Riyadh Comedy Festival, which has seen some of stand-up comedy's biggest names perform to crowds in Saudi Arabia for the first time ever.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Charlene Patton is in the studio to join us with one of her latest recipes.
Plus, medication inhalers are substantial contributors to planet-warming pollution. We'll have that story a little later as well. It's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll, of course, keep an eye on those storms for you this morning. Anything happens, we'll let you know, but not really worried about them. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.
Expect Isla to see her first